So here we are. Okay, guys, listen. This class, this is what we about to do today, is what this class is centered around. Okay? What we did in the first week was introductions, where I was introducing information to you. I talked to you about the system of God, about what the system of God could possibly be. Okay? Based off of scientific facts and scientific understandings, right? That's not just something I made up in my head. It's based off of what we see. I told y'all about magnetism, electricity and magnetism. And now it looks like every time I turn around, a video is finding me talking about the importance of magnetism and electricity in reference to this world. Every time I turn around. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Told y'all about existence being in place. Nobody created existence, it just was here. So maybe existence is an entity in itself, right? And when I did the system of God, it's just to try to give y'all something that, church ain't never gave us. That church gave us this one perspective that wasn't based off of none of very mundane, very uncomplex ideology about God. And it just don't fit no more, right? It just don't fit no more. Just this thing that church gave us, it just don't answer because it's too much going on, right? So when I give you my system of God, think about what I'm telling you, right? I'm telling you that God is not a man, so you can't reason with God on a human level. Humans tend to think that the whole universe revolves around us. When we are a part of this larger microcosm, it don't revolve around us. We are not the pinnacle of creation. And whatever God is, it is not us. It is far beyond us, something completely different. So when things happen to us on a human scale, we got to stop looking at it like, oh, God punishing me. Because in my estimation of what God is, God ain't, that don't register to God like punishment. That's just a part of the system. This is what had to happen. This person got to leave at this time. This person got to go through this circumstance. This person got to go through this obstacle. When that bad stuff happening to you, man, it ain't always a punishment. Sometimes it's a gift trying to teach you, trying to strengthen you, trying to make you better. Okay? Also, I told y'all like this. I say, learn to live life and learn to experience life, go through life and experience, and stop looking at it like you taking everything personal, right? This is your experience. Your soul is having an experience for the purpose of gathering data, okay? So, like I got a family. I love my family. I'm happy to have my family. But I know that my path in life is not just my family. It's whatever the soul needs while it's on this journey, it's going to get. So everything that happens in this life it's an opportunity for me to serve that purpose, in which is gathering that data. Okay, so we got to remember, man, this we here to experience this life. We here to learn from this life, and then whatever purpose we're supposed to serve next, we're gonna figure it out. Okay, so like I say, man, the system of God that I have, it's a little bit more complex than what religion has given us, okay? And I try to share that with y'all. Also, in that system of God, I explained to y'all that there are many creations that existed long before you. Put a 1 in the chat if you understand that concept, that there are many creations that existed long before you. So this is key to understanding what we're about to get into, okay? So when you asking yourself, like, how do these people are able to do this? People be like, well, how are the Anunnaki able to do this? How are these people able to do this? Okay, they way older than you. They've been around way before you. They got millions and millions of years of evolution. Humanity has not been Homo sapien but for only 200,000 years, gang. These folks got millions and millions of years of evolution. Okay? Spiritual and technical. So you just have to accept that they are a different level than us. That's the thing that people have a hard concept with. There are beings that are on a different level than you. You 3-dimensional, you got some that's 4D, some that's 5D. As you go up that ladder, you get to be on some superhuman shit, okay? When we get to 7D and beyond, okay, we talking Thoth, we getting closer to God level, Yahweh level, okay? So there are beings that are far more evolved in that way than us, okay? So right now, guys, let's just play our part. Let's just play our part. Maybe we got some amazing role down the line, but right now, our role as earthlings is to learn. Our role is to understand. We're coming out of our infancy. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Spiritually, we are infants. We got a long way to go. Okay? Like I told you, you look at the monks in Tibet and the Himalayas, them people that dedicated their whole life to spiritualism. You know that you ain't ready for that. You know you ain't ready for that. I ain't ready for that. So let's just embrace where we at. I'm not on that level. My job in this life is to bring awareness, to teach, and to prepare for whatever it is in the next life, whatever it is that I'm supposed to do. I want to complete my mission in this life so that I can accept my next mission. Okay? So the reason you getting this information is because it's your turn, right? I'm telling you right now, the Most High would not have brought you across my path if it was not meant for you to get this information, to get this knowledge. Somehow, some way you've been asking for it. Some of y'all, I'm sure some of y'all went to God and asked for the truth and said, hey man, I want to understand better. I want to know the truth. I want to know what really didn't happen, right? And what happens is the universe picks you up and grants you exactly what you asked for. And listen, when they do that, they don't take you to some magnanimous person, some amazing person. They put you right on the path of a person like me. Because that's the way they work. It ain't gonna never be who you think it should be. That's just like every time I tell folks, I say I'm here to lead the community. Motherfuckers want to look at me and try to look into me and, oh, he this and he doing this. I'm telling you, I say, where the other leaders at? Where the celebrities at? Where all the black folks that have made all this money out of the community, where they at? They ain't stepping up. But then when a leader do step up, you ready to challenge him and put him down. Well, I'm here because this is my role. I'm here to lead. I'm here to teach and I'm here to serve. So if you're here for this information, you definitely about to get it, okay? This is the portion of the course where we're going to be reading from the Sumerian tablets. We're going to be reading from the translations of the Sumerian tablets. If you were in class on Friday, you know we talked about the tablets. I showed you the validation, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you was here Friday and you got to see that the tablets been validated by Harvard. That the tablets were discovered between 1823 and 1849. That these people been working on this information long before we got it. Okay? So I showed y'all all the facts of them. So y'all know. Like I told y'all, y'all know what nobody over in no damn Iraq in 1823 making no fake tablets and burying them. That don't even make no sense. So this is the real live truth. Now let me ask y'all this. Have you ever said to yourself, what if somebody actually recorded the truth of what took place on this planet? What if somebody actually wrote down what really happened from one step all the way up to the biblical times, right? What if somebody actually recorded it, actually wrote it down? Like instead of us, having to guess or trying to figure out what might have happened, what if somebody actually wrote it down? That's exactly what we're getting into today, gang. We're about to get into the tablets, to the translations. So you're going to hear us make a lot of jokes. This is another thing. You're going to hear us make a lot of jokes about these Anunnaki people, these characters, because we know them so well. We've been doing this. This is really the 5th course. The first course I did was totally free. I did this shit for like 6 months in the first course because it took a long time to get through, but it was free. It was free for everybody. But the course is so damn long, I couldn't do it again for free. It was too much work. It was a strenuous amount of work. Okay, but now here we are. I was able to develop the course. But anyway, so we're gonna crack a lot of jokes here and there, guys. So don't pay no attention to us. But Enki wrote it down. Enki had it written down. He had it recorded. Okay? So I want y'all to remember something. I showed y'all that the Sumerian tablets is 3,500 years old, minimally 3,600 years older than the Bible. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember when I showed you that information. That the Sumerian tablets are scientifically accepted as being 3,600 years older than the oldest Hebrew Bible, than the first Bible ever made, the first one put together. Okay, so we already know. When I tell you that everything you get out of the Bible, Old Testament, that all the Old Testament information from the Bible comes from here. The only difference is you don't get the real version when you get the Bible. You get the diluted version. You get the watered down version. You get the 3,600 years in the future version. Let me ask y'all this. What you think they're going to say about Tupac 3,600 years from now? They're going to be a different story. What you think they're going to say? What you think they're going to talk about Michael Jordan 3,600 years from now? It's going to be a different story. So anything that you dealing with 3,600 years from the original, by the time you get that version that you got, it's totally different, totally diluted, totally watered down. Okay? This is what I want y'all to know. Okay? Hear me out. This is what you're about to learn. The Bible is history. It is the history of the first people. It's the history of the first people and also the history of the second people. Okay? The second people, the first people was us, was the Adamu. The second people was us, the Homo sapien. Okay? Now, but about 150,000 years after that, we're going to get to these other people. We're going to get to these other races, how the other races came to be. Okay, but for 180,000 years, it was the Anunnaki and the melanated race that they genetically altered here on Earth. Okay? So this is the story you about to get, guys. If you ever heard black people say that we was the first, put a 5 in the chat if you've ever heard black people say that we was the first people of society or civilization. Put a 5 if you ever heard that. Because we hear that all the time. We hear that all the time, right? What's that in Black Lex? Shout out to my brother Black Lex, man. Okay, so now you finna get the validation. Now you finna get the validation of where that come from. Now you finna get a chance to see. Yeah, Thoth good people. Thoth is our leader, brother. Thoth is our leader. All right? And don't believe that crap they be talking about, the Great Deception. Talking about Thoth did the Great Deception. Whatever Thoth did, he had to do. All right? So listen up. This the real story, gang. This the closest you're going to get to it. I want y'all to know something right now. If melanated people got a different story, we needed to show up on the archaeological record. Because we can't come out here making up stories for our people. We got to go with what we go with. Now, this story that we finna get, y'all gonna see is very unbiased. It is a very unbiased story. You're gonna know how unbiased it is. These people say things, and the way they say them, you know they telling the truth. When they talk about Africa, they don't say Africa. This in the tablets. They don't say Africa. When they talk about Africa, they say the heart-shaped landmass. Who would be thinking to not use the term Africa? Only person that would be thinking not to use the term Africa is somebody who came here before it had the name Africa. Somebody who came here before it had the name Africa. They say the heart-shaped landmass. They talk about mining the gold in the lower Abzu. That is what they called Africa, the Abzu. They talk about mining gold in the lower Abzu. Guess where we find the oldest gold mines at? Guess where we find the oldest gold mines at in the world? They called it the lower Abzu. You know where we find the oldest gold mines at in the world? South Africa. Come on with us in, Breeze. In South Africa. No, my brother. South Africa. America don't have an Adams calendar, my brother. The oldest gold mines, oldest gold mines. Everything that you know about America, man, is within the last 10,000 years. Within the last 6,000 to 7,000 years. This ain't my word. I'm going with who wrote in stone. I got to go with what's in stone. We can't go with nothing else but what's in stone. See, let me tell you something, my brother. I'm going to be real with you. All them dudes out here that's telling you trying to make America be the starting point is the same dudes who never did this research. So if you don't do the highest levels of research, if you don't go do all the research, you can't be out here teaching people. So these brothers then got together and decided to go with this narrative that it's America. It's not America. We're going to teach you how America come into the story. America is a big part of the story. America is a big part of the story. But these folks wrote it down. These folks was here. These are the folks that built the civilization. So arguing with this, I mean, if you got something, if anybody got anything better than this, it's time for you to step up and show it. Anybody. I'm talking about anybody out there. If you got some story, because all of that stuff they do on TikTok, I was there, guys. I was with these people. I thought America had a different story too. But you know what the story is? The story is the Anunnaki landed in Africa. They could have landed in America, but it just so happens that they landed in Africa. And that's where they started at. That's where they found all the gold that they needed. And then eventually they went over to America. Okay? So what you're about to learn is none of these things you find in America are Egyptian. These are Anunnaki civilizations. Teotihuacan, Chichen Itza. These are Anunnaki civilizations. That's Thoth. These are Thoth civilizations. When you in so-called Egypt, which is Kim or Nubia, those are Marduk's civilizations. Those are Amun-Ra's civilizations. You about to get it today, though. We finna start, okay? So what we do, the way this class works, guys, we read, okay? So I want you to get comfortable. I want you to understand how our class flows. It's a reading. Chief is going to read, and when it's time for me to explain certain things, I'm going to explain, okay? So, like I say, man, I hope y'all enjoy. Every day we'll be here. We'll meet, same time. We're going to read. It takes about 3 months to get through all of this information, okay? Everything you want to know, you about to get a chance to learn it, all right? You might not learn every single thing, but probably most of what you've always wanted to know, you about to get a chance to learn it as they wrote it, okay? This information was translated by a man named Zechariah Sitchin. Zechariah Sitchin was not the first person to translate this information. He just did the best translation to date. Okay? Zechariah Sitchin did this back in the 60s. He had been working on this stuff forever. He's not a clout chaser. The man's not a partier, not a drug user. He's an old, elderly, I think he's German. He's an old, elderly German man. Got a family. So when I looked into Zachariah's situation, what I saw is somebody who was deeply dedicated to their work. I didn't see nobody that was searching for clout. Because let me tell you something. If Zachariah Sitchin was searching for clout, he could have just said that the first man was white. Right? He could have just wrote that the first man was white and that this was this and this, and he didn't do that. He told the truth. He explained it as they explained it. So this is why we rock with Zachariah Sitchin and we rock with his translations, because the man was dedicated to his work. And due to his dedication to his work, we got this truth today. All right? So y'all get ready, gang. We gonna give me like 2 minutes to get set up, and we're gonna get this thing going. All right? Give me about 2 minutes to get everything set up, and we're going to get it going. All right. Let's get this thing going. Back to the Nibiru, baby. Or should I say Nubiru? Nubiru. That's the pronunciation. Nubiru. Just like Nubia, Nubiru. I got you, G-Man. We gonna bring it back, baby. We gonna bring it back. Shout out to the family. Y'all ready to do this thing, man? As Nubiru turns, baby. This is a soap opera. As Nubiru turns. Now check it out. This is how they did it. They're going to start us on their planet. Okay? So we're about to journey to Nubiru, what they call Nibiru. Okay? We're about to go to their planet. They're going to give us a detailed account what took place on their planet that facilitated them coming to Earth. Okay? So Act 1 starts on their planet. This is their words, their narration. I'm narrating, but their words. It starts on their planet, and then they travel to the Earth. Okay? So listen up. All right, gang? Let's have some fun. Now, this is the account of the prior times and of the weapons of terror. Before the prior times was the beginning. After the prior times were the olden. They just simply split it up in eras. Okay? The beginning was on their planet. The olden times was when they first landed on Earth. The prior times was before the calamity, before the war, okay? In the olden times, the gods came to Earth and created the earthlings. They say created, but you know, they just genetically altered us. They didn't create us. In the prior times, the gods came to Earth and created the earthlings. In the prior times, none of the gods was on the earth, nor were the earthlings yet fashioned. In the prior times, the abode of the gods was on their own planet. Nubiru was its name, or Nibiru. A great planet, reddish in radiance, around the sun, an elongated circuit Nibiru makes. So that's the first thing y'all got to learn. So they're telling you about the planet, how it looks. It's a red, radiant, glowing planet, okay? They called Nibiru the red planet, all right? So listen. Nibiru has a different type of orbit around its sun. Earth makes a 24-hour orbit around, Earth makes a 365-day orbit around the sun. It takes it 1 year for the Earth to orbit around our sun. Nibiru, unfortunately, has a much longer orbit. It takes Nibiru 3,600 years to circle its sun. Okay? 3,600 years. Which means the days are way longer on Nibiru. 1 year on Earth is equal to 3,600 years on Nibiru. You got to get used. This is the stuff you got to kind of get used to hearing right now. If y'all ever seen the movie Interstellar, when they go to Miller's Planet, I don't know if y'all familiar with that movie. When they went to Miller's Planet, 1 hour on Miller's Planet was 7 years on Earth. Put a 2 in the chat if you ever seen Interstellar and you remember that scene about Miller's Planet. 1 hour on Miller's Planet was 7 years on the Earth. If you ain't had a chance, go see Interstellar. Get a chance to watch it. You'll get a concept of what that's like. Okay? Yes, it is. Sure, one of my favorite movies having here. So, their orbit, I want you to understand that we got a short orbit around our sun. They got a much longer orbit. Okay? Now, I explained to y'all in the introductory classes, the way this happened is their planet was kicked out by its star, its original star. Okay? Sirius C was its original star. Sirius C went supernova and it kicked Nibiru out and it put Nibiru on a different orbit, which made it have a 3,600 year orbit around its new sun. Okay? So that is what allows it to come into our solar system. That long elongated orbit on that. And I want y'all to understand something. Another thing I need to show y'all is that orbit, when you hear the term orbit, that's a highway. All the planets move on a highway system. When you hear about a planet is on an orbit, that's a highway. Okay? So when Nibiru was cast out of its original star, it put it on a road that took it down into our solar system. And it takes 3,600 years for it to circle its sun. Okay? So for a long time on Nibiru, it is very cold. And then for another long time, it's very hot. So when they're closest to its sun, it's very hot on the planet. When it's further away, it's very cold on this planet. Okay? So let me read that to y'all again because you got to kind of understand that. In the prior times, the abode of the gods was on their own planet. Nibiru was its name. A great planet, reddish in radiance, around the sun, an elongated circuit Nibiru makes. For a time in the cold is Nibiru engulfed. For part of its circuit by the sun strongly it is heated. Like I just told you, it's cold for a long time, it's hot for a long time. A thick atmosphere envelops Nibiru. By volcanic eruptions, it was constantly fed. All matters in life, in this atmosphere, it sustains. Without it, there will be only perishing. Okay, so check it out. Nibiru's atmosphere is what protects it from the sun's harmful UVs. Same way we got an atmosphere, right? We got what's called an ozone layer, all right? Put a 1 in the chat if you ever remember, when we was growing up, they was talking about the ozone layer, right? Remember they used to talk about, oh, we got to stop polluting or we're going to have a hole in the ozone layer. We used to hear that all the time, right? So they told us that was some really bad shit, right? Well, guess what? They wasn't lying. They was lying about us causing it, but they was not lying because Nibiru actually had a hole in their ozone layer. All right? So when their atmosphere got ripped, when the atmosphere was ripped, reminds me of Andre 3000 line. When the atmosphere was ripped, it caused their sun's UV light to come directly through. Now, we're protected from the sun's raw light. If the sun's raw light was getting through, would nobody live. I don't give a fuck how melanated we are. Okay? We're able to absorb We're able to absorb some UV light, but we couldn't get the raw sunlight. Everybody be dead, okay? So what happened on Nibiru is their atmosphere got ripped. And it allowed this sun to just wreak havoc on their planet, on their ecosystem, okay? This is the thing that led them to having to find a remedy for that tear in their ozone layer, okay? And that eventually is what's going to lead them to come into the earth in search of this goal, all right? So when they talk about the atmosphere, keeping everybody safe, keeping everybody warm, the atmosphere, it was very important, okay? So let me read that one more time. A great planet, reddish in radiance, around the sun an elongated circuit Nibiru makes. For a time in the cold is Nibiru engulfed. For part of its circuit by the sun strongly it is heated. A thick atmosphere envelops Nibiru, by volcanic eruptions constantly fed. All manner in life this atmosphere sustains. Without it, there will be only perishing. They say without the atmosphere, everybody dies, just like I just told you. In the cold period, the inner heat of Nibiru, it keeps about the planet like a warm coat that's constantly renewed. It's just speaking about the atmosphere and how it takes care of them. In the hot period, it shields Nibiru from the sun's scorching rays. In its mist, rains it holds and releases to lakes and streams, giving rise, right? Just like our atmosphere, just like our clouds, right? When they pour, it fills our streams. It creates the rivers and things of this nature. So they just explaining, how important their atmosphere was to them. Lush vegetation our atmosphere feeds and protects. All manner of life in the waters and on the land to sprout it caused. Okay? After eons of time, our own species sprouted by our own essence in eternal seed to procreate. Okay? This is their story from their infancy. This is when Queen Tiamat and Prince Tiberian gave birth to this civilization. They say, after eons of time, our own species sprouted by our own essence in eternal seed to procreate, okay? As our numbers grew to many regions of our Nibiru ancestors spread. Some tilled the land, some four-legged creatures shepherded. So they say, listen, in the beginning, they talking about in the beginning of their civilization, they were primitive. Okay, this is very key, guys. Although they are highly technologically advanced and spiritually advanced at this point, they are telling you that in the beginning, they were a primitive society. They were a primitive civilization. They say some of their ancestors farmed the land. Some of their ancestors were sheep herders, were herders, right? They say some tilled the land, some shepherded four-legged creatures, okay? So y'all gonna learn all of this sheep herders and shepherds and shit that come from them. You gonna get there. We're gonna get there. But they saying on their planet in the beginning, it was a very primitive civilization, right? Some lived on the mountains, some in the valleys, their homes made. Rivalries occurred, encroachments happened, clashes occurred, sticks became weapons. They walking us along. They're walking us along, right? Now we're getting to a point in their time, they say they started to fight each other, but they were still using primitive weaponry, right? They say they were using sticks and stones, but then the sticks became real weapons, like technological weapons, okay? I want y'all to follow that part. He say some lived in mountains, some in the valleys made their home, but rivalries occurred, encroachments happened, clashes occurred, sticks became weapons. clans gathered into tribes. That's key. Clans gathered into tribes. Then the two great nations each other faced. All right? This is their history on their planet. This is what took place on Nibiru. Yes, we on Nibiru. We're going to be on Nibiru for the next 2 weeks before we get to Earth. They're explaining to you what took place on their planet. How they were primitive people at one time. And then over time, clans began to form, and these clans began to clash. And then as time went on, when they used to fight with sticks, they started using real weaponry. They started having technological weapons, guns, bombs. Okay? Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar? You know, we basically, I'm telling you, we basically emulated everything that they did. At one time, we were primitive. At one time, we fought with sticks. And then sticks turned into weaponry. Okay? And here we are today, using all kind of atomic nuclear weaponry, using all kind of drones with lasers. So that's all they doing is explaining to you that at one point, it was like this on our planet. Okay? What's up, Miss Kill? All right? Clans gathered into tribes. Then two great nations faced each other. Right? So now, on their planet, everybody in the chosen side. You got the North versus the South on Nibiru. And they about to embark on a huge war. The North of Nibiru against the South of Nibiru. The nation of the North against the nation of the South took up arms. What was held by hand to thrusting missiles were turned. Okay, there you go right there. They say what used to be held by hand, when we used to hold weapons by hand, now we're using thrusting missiles. So you have to imagine the leap in technology he's talking about. He's saying at one point in time, it was just sticks and stones. Now we're using thrusting missiles. Okay? What was held by hand to thrusting missiles was turned. Weapons of thunder and brilliance increased the terror. A war, long and fierce, engulfed the planet. Brother against brother. There was death and destruction, both north and south. For many circuits, desolation reigned. All life was diminished. Then a truce was declared. Okay, so this war that took place on Nibiru. Remember, I don't know if y'all remember when I was explaining to y'all how this Anunnaki civilization came to be. I told y'all when the hybrids started to live amongst others, there were differences. They had to figure out how to live with each other because you got hybrids, you had pure reptilians, you had pure Lyrans, and so they all had to figure out how to live with each other, okay? So what happened is the Anunnaki civilization broke off, and that's when they created Nibiru. What ended up happening on Nibiru is kind of like the same thing. Differences led to fights, led to wars. And this war that they're talking about right now, it was so bad that they almost wiped out all of the men. Because that's who was fighting, that was who was mostly fighting the wars. Women fought too, but it was most men, right? So they ended up almost wiping out all the men from the war. And this is why they had to declare a truce. Because without the men on the planet, you know what I'm saying, your planet got X amount of time. You got to be able to procreate and create life in order for your planet to continue, okay? So this war had been so bad that they decided we needed to declare a truce. We need to have a truce. We need to figure something out, okay? Then a truce was declared. Then peacemaking was conducted. Let the nations be united, the emissaries said to one another. Let there be one throne on Nibiru, One king to reign over all. Okay, so this is where they're going with it. They say no more having a king in the north, no more having a king in the south. We're going to unify Nibiru. We're going to have one king over the whole planet. Okay, this is what they're offering. Let a leader from north or from south by lot be chosen. One king supreme to be. If he be from the north, let a female from the south be his spouse. Equal queen to reign alongside. Okay, so that was smart. To be fair, to give both sides a chance, they say, if you pick a king from the north, let his wife, the queen, be from the south. If you pick a queen from the south, if you pick a king from the south, let his queen be from the north. That way you give equal opportunity to both sides to have some power on the throne. Put a 1 in the chat if you understand the concept of that, right? They say we're gonna get if the king comes from the north, his queen must come from the south, right? That way both sides have equal power on the throne. Okay? This is them. This is, like I say, this is early on them trying to figure out how to create peace on their planet. Okay, after coming out of this war. Husband and wife, let them be as one flesh to become. Let their firstborn son be the successor. Let a unified dynasty thus be formed. Unity on Nibiru forever to establish. Okay, that's kingship right there, guys. They just explained to you how they created the kingship on their planet. Okay? Ain't nobody never explained to you where kingship come from on earth. Now, one, you ain't never heard that in your life. Ain't nobody explained to you the process of kingship. But they just told you that this is how it's going to work. We're going to get a king. We're going to make somebody a king from here. We're going to take a queen from here. And then their firstborn son will be the successor to the throne. Okay? So this is them establishing a kingship for Nibiru. Okay? And the reason why this is important is when we get to the Sumerians kings list, we're going to be dealing with the extension of kings on earth. Okay? But we'll get there. I'll bring that up when we get there. In the midst of the ruins, peace was started. North and south by marriage were united. The royal throne into one flesh combined. An unbroken line of kingship established. The first king after peace was made was a warrior of the north. A mighty commander he was. By lots, true and fair, was he chosen. His decrees in unity were accepted. For his abode, he built a splendid city. A god, unity meaning was its name. For his reign, a royal title he was granted. On it was, the celestial one, it was its meaning. Okay, so this is the first king. So if you want to take any notes, this is a good time to take some notes. Honestly, probably should have been taking notes. But the first king of Nibiru after the peace, after the war, the first king of a unified Nibiru was King An, A-N, okay? A mighty warrior he was. An, his name An meant celestial one, okay? So listen, every time they mention an Anunnaki, every time they mention, good job, D-Lynn, good job, my sister, them notes gonna come in handy. I'm also give y'all a timeline, okay? So everybody in the course is going to receive a timeline, full spectrum timeline of the Earth's history, but it's going to incorporate the Anunnaki timeline. Okay, so I'm gonna get that out to y'all too, somewhere towards the end of the course, because that's when it's gonna come to play. So all y'all gonna get a timeline. All right, I'm gonna need y'all email in order to do so. But that you don't need it right now. You're going to need it toward the end. So one thing I want y'all to know, The Anunnaki, their names have meaning. Okay? So when they give somebody a name, usually they'll have a name that has a meaning, and then they might have something like a nickname. Okay? So in our community, I don't know about in the white community, but I know in the black community, we were big on our names having meaning. Okay? So if y'all ever wondered kind of like where this comes from, like why do we, like even with nicknames, right? Like I told y'all guys, this honestly our parent race. That's the truth. So what you're going to see is a lot of the stuff that we do, you're gonna see that they were already doing this. And it's kind of going to be a correlation of, oh, that's maybe where we got it from. So a name meant something. You couldn't just get, like today they just giving anybody a name, just any name. But back in the day, black folks used to try to name their children a name that meant something, okay? This is something that was practiced in Africa as well as American Indians, okay? The Black American Indians, this is where we get these names from, gang. I'm trying to tell you. This is where we get this system from, okay? So, An meant the celestial one. That is what his name means. An was the first king of the unified Nibiru. With strong-arm order in the lands he reestablished, the laws and regulations he decreed. For each land he appointed governors. Restoration and reclamation was their foremost task. Okay, so you got to remember, Nibiru has been destroyed by war. So the first thing that An do is he established governors for each region so that they go in and clean up. It's time to clean up what they messed up, okay? Restoration and reclamation was their foremost task. That was good. Of him in the royal annals, thus it was recorded. An unified the lands. Peace on Nibiru he restored. He built a new city. The canals he repaired. Food to the people he provided. There was abundance in the lands. For his spouse, the south, a maiden he had chosen. For both love and warring, she was useful. Unto was her royal title. The leader who is An's spouse. The giving name did cleverly mean. All right, so listen. It was time for him to choose a spouse. He chose, let me see. He chose a queen from the south. And he said that she was for both love and warring. She was noted. So she was a warrior. Okay, so she was a female warrior. Her name was Antu. Her name was Antu. That was her royal. I'm sorry, hold on. Antu was her royal title. Antu was her royal title. And that name meant the leader who is An's spouse. Okay? So listen to them names. Don't them names sound Nubian to y'all? Antu? Keep listening to these names and tell me, do these names sound very Nubian to y'all? Keep listening. Antu was her royal title, the leader who is An's spouse. The giving name did clearly mean. She bore An 3 sons and no daughters. Okay? So An and Antu, they had 3 sons and no daughters. This is very important, gang. Listen up. The firstborn son by her was named Enki. That name means by An, a solid foundation was its meaning. Okay, so the firstborn son was named Enki. By An, a solid foundation was its meaning. So that's the first son, Enki. So y'all know that in the system of kingship, the firstborn son is the one who can ascend to the throne. Okay, so if your brother is the firstborn son, he's going to be the king, and the crown don't pass to no other son unless he dies, right? You know what I'm saying? So if he lives, so if y'all 2 years older, if y'all 1 or 2 years apart, and he lives his entire life, you won't ever be king. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a tough situation to be in, but the firstborn son is always in the successor to the king, okay? And that's what we get it today. Now, that's kind of where we get the importance of firstborn being important today, right? In our society, for so many years, the firstborn son was very important, okay? So Enki was the firstborn. Alone on the throne, he was seated. A spouse to choose was twice postponed. So he was supposed to choose a spouse twice. But for some reason, my boy kept postponing. Now, I don't know if he's scared of women. I don't know what's going on right now. We got to keep our eye on Enki now. They tried to bring you some women twice and you turned it down, dog. What's going on, Enki? They bring a lot of women to you, now you're turning them down. Gotta keep our eye on you, dog. You know what I'm saying? You don't want them girls, man. So listen, here we go. In his reign, listen up. In his reign, concubines were brought into the palace. A son to him was not born. Now, hold on now. They brought him the royal women. He ain't want to do nothing to the royal women. Now they done bought you a bunch of freaks. And you still ain't get nobody pregnant? What's going on, bro? What's going on? That boy don't want to touch no women, man. They ain't gonna tell the truth. All right. So in his reign, concubines were brought into the palace. A son to him was not born. This is a big problem. You gotta have a son. Because, like I told y'all, the firstborn son is the successor, and then his son is the next in line. So the brother gets skipped over. Only time the brother can get the crown if the firstborn dies. So the crown goes from the firstborn son to the son of the firstborn son. Okay? All right? Y'all gonna see that this is gonna cause a problem. It's gonna cause a problem. The dynasty that thus begun was by the death of Enki disrupted. So Enki died. Enki died on the throne. On the foundation, he had no offspring. So this causes a real problem. The firstborn son, Enki, dies on the throne. Ain't nobody kill him. He just died. Okay? But he ain't have no children. So the middle son, though not the firstborn, the legal heir was pronounced. Okay? So now the younger brother get to succeed to the throne because his brother died. Now I'm telling y'all, these folks ain't, maybe they leaving something out. I think somebody might have took that boy out because he ain't want to touch them women. But hey, we'll use that for another time. So the middle son rose to become the legal heir. From his youth, one of 3 brothers, Ib, by his mother, was lovingly called. Okay? So the middle son, his name is Ib. The middle son name is Ib, I-B. By his mother was lovingly called. Right? And another thing, like I told y'all, these Anunnaki, these are humanoid people, man. They ain't exactly like us, but they humanoid. This is a human story, right? Ib, by his mother, was lovingly called, okay? These are things that humans say, okay? The one in the middle did his name mean. His name means the one in the middle son, all right? Okay, there you go. Well, where Ib, the way they got it, means the one in the middle. His name did mean. By the royal annals, Ib is his name. That's his celestial name was An-Ib. In kingship celestial by generations, the one who is An's son, the name signified. Like I told you, you got your birth name, and then you get your celestial name. Okay? Your celestial name is your royal name. So his birth name was Ib. Okay? His celestial name was An-Ib. Okay? Everybody that came from the line of An gonna have that An on their name. Just like Anunnaki, Anu, okay? Because An was the first king, okay? That everybody descended from. So An-Ib is his celestial name. And that means the one who is An's son. That's what that name signifies. He followed his father An on the Beru's throne. By the count, he was the third to reign. The daughter of his younger brother he chose to espouse. Okay, I got to get y'all prepared for this right now. The Anunnaki like to keep it in the family. Okay? So the Anunnaki, you know, if y'all ever heard about the royals, y'all know how them British royals do? You know, they like to keep it in the family too. Okay, we're gonna see all of it's connected. All of it's connected. So the Anunnaki, when you become the heir, you have to choose a spouse. It is recommended that you choose a daughter of one of your brothers, either a daughter of your brother or of your father. Okay. Usually usually they choose somebody that they have a different mother. Okay, so it's like if they choose a sister, she's got to have a different mother than what they have. Okay, to keep from I guess that keeps the incest from taking place or whatever. Still disgusting. Okay, so the Anunnaki big on sister and brother humping. Okay, they do a lot of that. That's the whole system is birthed out of humping on your brother, humping on your sister. Okay? Just telling you. That's the royals on earth do the same thing. All right? The white royals, they kept it in the family. They were very incestuous, but I'm going to make it all make sense to y'all when we get there. All right? This is their system, not ours. Okay? The Anunnaki genetically altered us. We are not them. Okay? So I just want to make sure y'all understand that we ain't making no love to our sisters and brothers, all right? I'm telling you right now, no way. All right, so Ib chose the daughter of his youngest brother, okay? So there was 3 kids, remember? An and An-2 had 3 kids. An-Ib, the one that didn't want no women, he died on the throne. Enki died on the throne. An-Ib is the one that's on the throne now, and they got a younger brother. They got a third brother that they don't talk about here. Okay, his name is Nin-Ib. They don't talk about him. They don't talk about him here, but An-Ib married his daughter. Okay, this information is very important. It's going to come back up down the line, okay? So I want y'all to write right now that An-Ib married the daughter of his younger brother, okay? Write that down because we're going to have to come back to that later. It's going to be a very important reason why we come back to that. Okay? The daughter of his younger brother he chose to spouse. Nin-Ib, she was called the Lady of Ib. A son to An-Ib by Nin-Ib was born. The successor on the throne he was, the 4th by the count of kings. So we done had on the throne. That was the first king. Enki was the second king. Eb was the third king. Now the fourth king is the son of Eb and Nen-Eb, okay? By the royal name Anshargal, he wished himself to be known. An's prince, who is greatest of princes, was the meaning. His name is Anshargal. All right, this is the fourth one to take the throne. Anshargal. 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 His spouse was a half sister. Her name was Keisha Girl. Keisha Gal. All right, just like that, like the name Keisha. Okay, I told y'all pay attention to these names. These names sound very Nubian. Okay, her name was Keisha Gal. And Keisha Gal was, she a little ratchet. She's going to be a little ratchet. Okay, so Keisha Girl is the spouse of Anshargal. Okay, knowledge and understanding were his chief ambition. He studied the ways of the heavens. The heavens are the skies, the cosmos. Anytime you hear them say the heavens, they're talking about the cosmos. The great circuit of Nibiru he studied. Its length to a shar he fixed. I'll say, when you hear me say a shar, okay, a shar is a unit of measurement. Okay? A shar is a unit of measurement. A shar is equal to 3,600 years. Okay? So 1 year on Earth is equal to 3,600 years on Nibiru. That's what they call a shar. So we got 1 Earth year, they got 1 shar. Okay? If you need to write that down, a shar is a unit of measurement. It is equal to 3,600 years. As 1 year of Nibiru was the measure. That's their 1 year. It's 3,600 years to us. By its royal reigns to be numbered and recorded. So if you've ever heard about the Sumerians kings list and you hear about these kings reigning for 36,000 years and you're like, that can't be possible. That's because they measure their years in shars. So that's 10 cycles, right? 36,000 years, that's just 10 cycles. That's 10 years to them. 36 to us, it's just 10 years to them, okay? The shar to 10 portions he divided. 2 festivals thereby he pronounced. So he divided a shar into 10 portions. That's 360 years. Every 360 years, it was a portion, okay? When nearest to the sun's quarters, a festival of warmth was celebrated. So when they was close to the sun, they had a festival of warmth. When they was far away from the sun, they would have a festival of the cold. When it's to its far abode, Nibiru was distant, the festival of coolness was decreed. Replacing all olden festivals of tribes and nations to unify the people, the two were established. Laws of husband and wife, of sons and daughters by decree he shall establish. Customs from the first tribes he proclaimed for the whole land. From the wars, females greatly outnumbered the males. You heard that? Remember I told y'all, as a result of the war, they almost lost all of their male population? Okay? So from the wars, females greatly outnumbered the males. All right? Decrees he made. So my boy Anshargal, for all the fellas in the house, listen up. The fellas might like this. So because of this, because it was way more women than men, old Anshargal decided that he got to do the right thing. Anshargal say, you know, because there's way more women out here than men, I'm going to change the law. So he decreed that every male to have more than one female for knowing. So Anshargal decided that he had to do what was right. He had to do what was right for society. And he passed a law saying that every male can have more than one female for knowing. Because it's too many. Anshargal say, look, man, it is too many freaks out here, dog. Y'all telling me I got to be with this one woman and there's meat everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So he passed a law that every male should have more than one female for knowing. Now, you know his wife ain't want no problem, no parts of that. His wife ain't want no parts of that. She gonna go off on him. She gonna call them all kind of dogs. She gonna call them all kind of dirty dogs. By law, one wife as an official spouse to be chosen. So you get your official, you get your main. So y'all trying to figure out where this side chick system come from. Anshargal gave it to you, baby. Put some respect on his name. If you want to know where the side chick system come from, it was begun by Anshargal. Anshargal said you get your main, you get by law, you get one wife as official spouse, right? And she will be called the first wife. First wife to be called. Okay, that's your main. That's your main. By law, the firstborn son was his father's successor. By these laws, confusion soon came about. If the firstborn son was not born by the first wife, and thereafter by the first wife a son was born, by law the legal heir becoming, who shall be the successor? So this is the problem that created. Let me show y'all something. Check it out. So when he created this side chick system, what happened is people was like, okay, well, the original law says the firstborn of the queen, the first wife, the son would be the successor to the throne. But what happens if your side chick get pregnant before your wife? Y'all see the problems it caused? What happens if your side chick get pregnant before your wife? Who takes the throne? Right? So this is the problem that it caused. And this is exactly what happened. This is exactly what happened. His side chick got pregnant before his wife. And boy, she ain't having it. Okay? So listen up. The one by the first wife born, or the firstborn son, the legal heir? Who shall inherit? Who shall succeed? In the reign of Anshargal, Enki girl, as first wife was pronounced. A half-sister of the king she was. In Anshargal's reign, concubines were again brought into the palace. Keisha girl was having trouble getting pregnant. So they had to bring the concubines in. Bring the hoes! So they had to bring the concubines in. She was having trouble getting pregnant. By the concubines, sons and daughters to the king were born. Oh, so he had a bunch of kids. He done had a bunch of sons and daughters with the concubines. My boy ain't now putting in work, right? He couldn't get Keisha girl pregnant, but he got them girls pregnant. It's finna be some hell to pay though. A son by one was the first to be born. The son of a concubine was the firstborn. It's a problem. Thereafter, Keisha girl bore a son. The legal heir by law, he was. The firstborn, he was not. So now we got a problem. The side chick got pregnant first. So the side chick thinking, oh, I done moved on up. I done got pregnant by the king. My son finna be the king. I ain't finna be living out here in the shack. I'm moving to the big house. That's what the side chick thinking. Right? Then the wife, the main girl, Keisha girl say, bitch, no, you not. Bitch, you ain't coming up in here. Bitch, I'm pregnant. This, my baby more important. She taking her earrings out. She done slicked her shit back. And now we finna have a fight. You know what I'm saying? We finna have a real fight. Keisha girl say, shit. I bet her nap ass son ain't coming up in here. For real. I'm trying to tell you now. I told you we get to the Anunnaki. We get to them. So the legal heir by law, he was the firstborn, he was not. In the palace, listen to this. Hold on, I'm gonna read it to y'all just how they wrote it. Listen. In the palace, Keisha girl raised her voice in anger, shouting, bitch! That's what it say. It say, in the palace, Keisha girl raised her voice in anger, shouting. So you know, come on now. It's a sister. You know this a sister. You know she ain't playing. Ask yourself today. I'm going to ask my goddesses. If your man, the king, then got a woman pregnant before you got pregnant, how you going to handle that? My boy say Vaseline on the face. Oh, yeah. Come on now. I told you the Anunnaki. Now, I told y'all it's a goddamn, it's a soap opera. That's what we discovered. It's the world's first soap opera. Okay? In the palace, Keisha girl raised her voice in anger, shouting, if by rules my son by a firstborn wife from succession shall be barred, then ain't nobody goddamn son gonna be the king. Though of different mothers, of one father, the king and I are offspring. Look at this. Look at Rose say the king and the concubine getting stumped. Everybody getting beat up. All right, so listen. This is what they came up with. So they had to create a new law. They had to create a new law. That man he had to. Shit, he couldn't go back in that damn palace. He got his ass kicked out that palace. Now, you know he got kicked out the palace because he had to come up with a goddamn new law. Okay? He had to come up with a new law to make that woman happy, man. That man couldn't come back in that palace. He let that king shit go to his head. A black woman don't care if you the king. You ain't gonna get away with it. Okay? So listen. He had to come up with a new law, and the new law was called the law of double seed. Okay, let me explain to y'all how that worked. So let me explain how the law of double seed works. The law of double seed, it means that you are related to the royal family on both sides, right? Remember I told y'all that the Anunnaki like to keep it in the family? So if you become a king, you have to choose from your half sisters, okay? Not the sister that you got the same mama with. A sister that you got a different mama, same daddy, okay? So their little keep it in the family system is based on that. I think if it's like that, then the baby won't come out all mental, all messed up, okay? It's just that when somebody has relations with somebody from the same mother, that's when it causes an issue or whatever. So anyway, in their system, you got to choose a half sister to be your bride, to be your first wife. All right. So that means that the person that you marry is also your blood. You get it? So just think about it. So like if I met one of y'all and we got married, we don't have the same blood. Okay. The Anunnaki say you got to marry somebody that is of your blood. Okay. So him and Keisha girl got the same dad, not the same mom. But because they got the same dad, that means that they are related on that account. They are related by marriage and they are related by their relationship to the king. Do y'all get that? Put a 1 in the chat if you understand that. They are related 2 ways. This is why they call it the law of double seed. You're related by your relation to the king. Both of them have a relationship to the king. Both of them are married. Okay? So basically his new law says that no matter who come first. So let's say a concubine. The old law used to say whoever the first to give a baby, that baby can become the king. Okay? So before this law was put into place, if you got a concubine pregnant, the concubine's son raises to the throne. Now with the new law, it fucked all the concubines. Okay? So now the concubine's like, man, that's messed up. This was our way out the hood. That was the only way for a concubine woman to come up. There was her way out. So now the way it's set up is So now the way it's set up is if the queen get pregnant, it's one thing if she can't get pregnant. If she can't get pregnant, the concubine's son can go to the can ascend to the throne. But if the queen get pregnant, automatically her son usurps the concubine's son. So the queen's son automatically has more value than the concubine's son every time. Okay? So that's the new law, the law of double seed. If you are espoused through double seed, you ascend to the throne over concubine. Okay? This is going to cause a problem. Okay? Because a lot of concubine sons gonna get leaked over. Okay? So we're gonna come back to that. I want y'all to remember that. Couple things that's gonna cause that we're gonna have to come back to. We're gonna have to come back to Unib and the child that he had with his youngest brother's daughter. We're gonna have to come back to that, and we're gonna have to come back to this. Okay? So make a note. Make a mental note. We got to come back to explore the law of double seed at some point. Trust me. It's going to come up. So that's the new law. The new law is, by that my son, the double seed of our father Unib possesses. Let henceforth the law of the seed, the law of espousal overpower. Okay? So from henceforth, from now on, the law of double seed trumps the law of espousal. So it ain't just about who your dad is skied in. It used to be whoever your dad is skied in can be the king. Now you got to come from the queen. If the queen, like I said, you got to come from the queen to have first rights to the throne. So the queen's baby get first right to the throne no matter what. Let henceforth a son by a half-sister, whenever born, above all other sons rise to succession. That's what they say. All right, so let me read that one more time so we understand. It says, let henceforth a son by a half-sister, whenever born, above all other sons rise to succession. Okay? Half-sister, that's the double seed. And Shargal contemplating the law of seed embraced it with favor. Confusion of spouse and concubines, of marriage and divorce, it would be avoided. In their council, the royal counselors, the law of seed for succession adopted. By the king's orders, the scribes recorded it for decree. Thus, the next king, by the law of seed for succession, was proclaimed. To him, the royal name Anshar was granted. Okay, so let me show you something. So remember, the concubine's son got skipped over. He was supposed to be, the concubine's son was supposed to be the next king. He got skipped over for the queen's son. Okay? This boy is named Anshar. Okay? He's named after his daddy. His daddy is Anshar Gal. His name is Anshar. Fifth on the throne he was. So this is the fifth king on the throne of Nibiru after the war. His name is Anshar. Now, this is the account of the reign of Anshar and the kings who followed. When the law was changed, the other princes were contending. Words there were, rebellion there were not. Okay, so let me tell y'all this too. So if you was not a king, you were probably of the prince's court. You were either a prince or a princess, okay? So in the prince's court is just other brothers. So like if you was a middle brother or a younger brother, you were part of the prince's court, okay? I just want to make sure y'all understand that. As his spouse, Anshar, a half-sister chose, he made her first wife. By the name Kishar, she was called. Now this person's name is Kishar. Now y'all think we getting these names out of nowhere? Keisha. This girl name is Kishar. Okay? Kishar, she would call. You know damn well these ain't, you know who named these ain't. You know who names these don't sound like. You know what I'm saying? Thus was by the law the dynasty continued. In the reign of Anshar, the fields diminished. Their yields lost fruits, the grains lost abundance. From circuit to circuit, nearing the sun, the heat grew stronger. In the faraway abode, coolness was more biting. In Agad, the throne city, the king of those of great understanding was assembled. Learned savants, those of great knowledge to inquire, were commanded. So it says that Anshar gathered those of great minds, okay? So on Nibiru, they often lean on the most intelligent people of their society for answers on how to solve problems, okay? Kind of like what we should do, but we don't. But so on Nibiru, these great intelligent minds are called savants, right? We've heard that term before, right? You've heard that term used on Earth. You probably heard somebody being called an idiot savant or just a savant in period. S-A-V-A-N-T. These are intelligent minds, okay? So Anshar called on a council of savants to ask them what can he do to remedy this issue that they're starting to have, okay? At this time, this is when the UV light is starting to wreak havoc on their society. The rip in their atmosphere is starting to widening, it's starting to grow, okay? So that's what they're telling you. In the reign of Anshar is when they started to have these issues, okay? It says the fields diminished. It says the fields diminished their yields. Fruits and grains lost abundance. From circuit to circuit, nearing the sun's heat, it grew stronger. In the faraway abode, coolness was more biting. In Agad, the throne city, the king of those great of understanding assembled. Learned savants, those of great knowledge to inquire were commanded. The land and the soil they examined. The lakes and streams they put to the test. All right. So they doing soil samples. They testing the water. They trying to see what's going on. Okay. A destiny it is in the circuit of Nibiru embedded. Others of knowledge, the circuit observing, Nibiru's destiny to blame did not consider. In the atmosphere, a breaching had occurred. That was their finding. Okay, this is what they're talking about. They're talking about the rip in their ozone layer. They say what they ended up finding was that their atmosphere was widening. A rip in their atmosphere was widening. Volcanoes, the atmosphere forebearer, less belching were spitting up. They say that the volcanoes are not providing cover for the atmosphere. Even the volcanoes are not providing enough cover for this whole, okay? Nibiru's air has been made thinner. The protective layer has been diminished. In the reign of Anshar and Kishar, pestilence made appearance. Toil could not overcome there. Their son, Anshar, then the throne ascended. Of the dynasty, he was 6. So now their son, now we're moving along in time, okay? So when they're telling this story, y'all got to understand, they got to move us along in time. They're not giving us the detailed account of everything. They're going from king to king, okay? So now we're on the 6th king, the son of Anshar and Kishar. His name is Enshar, E-N-S-H-A-R, Enshar. So now we've got the cataclysm from the atmosphere, from the ozone layer, wreaking havoc on their planet, okay? Lordly master of the Shar did his name mean. With great understanding he was born. With much learning he mastered. Much knowledge. So this kid Enshar was really smart. To remedy the affliction he saw. To remedy the affliction ways he saw. In its loop of the son's 5 family members, it embraced planets of dazzling beauty. For cures to the affliction, their atmosphere he caused to be examined. To each he gave a name. Ancestral forefathers he honored. As heavenly couples, he considered them. Okay? So right now, yes, that's the Shar. Yeah, that's what the Shar means. Yes, tied to the time Shar. That's exactly what it means. So right now, Enshar is basically studying the planet's movements, right? This new orbit that it's on. So right now, he's trying to basically collect data from the cosmos. And in collecting this data, he's going to give names to all the celestial bodies that's in our solar system and in their solar system. But he's going to name them after former kings, okay? On and unto the twin planets. On and unto the twin planets, the first 2 he encountered. So y'all know the twin planets are what they consider are Jupiter and Saturn, okay? Beyond in the Nibiru circuit was Anshar and Kishar, in their size the largest. As a messenger, Gaga among the others coursed, sometimes first for Nibiru to meet. Gaga is the planet Pluto, okay? So what he just said is sometimes when Nibiru is on its orbit, they see the planet Nibiru comes in contact with the planet Pluto first. Okay? So Gaga is always the first one to meet. 5 in all were Nibiru's heavenly greeters as the sun circuited. Okay, so when he talks about these planets, these are the planets that's above the water of the firmament. I want y'all to understand this. You got the planets that's above the firmament, and you got the planets that's below the firmament. In our system, we got the planets that's below the firmament. In their system, you got the planets that's above the firmament, okay? We're going to get there. I told y'all I'm going to show y'all the real firmament because we're being confused with the electromagnetic field in the firmament. There's the actual firmament that separates the heavens. Remember I told y'all guys, the term heaven, it's hard to explain, man. That's why we got to get through. The term heaven is not a place you go to when you die. Heavens is the cosmos. It's the sky. So when they talk about the firmament that's in place that protects the upper heavens from the lower heavens, y'all finna see the real truth, okay? 5 in all were Nibiru's heavenly greeters as the sun encircled. Beyond like a boundary, the asteroid belt, listen, remember I told y'all about the asteroid belt? Listen, beyond like a boundary, okay? Beyond like a boundary. A matter of fact, let me do this. Let me just. So that's the Earth. Okay, so let's. I think this is the one we need. Okay, perfect. Yeah, there we go. Okay, listen. Hold on, gang. Pay attention. Y'all see Pluto right here, right? Here go the asteroid belt right here, the Kuiper belt. Here go Pluto right here, right? So let me read this to y'all again and see if it lines up with what we got here. So he is describing Nibiru's orbit. That's what's being described here. The orbit of Nibiru. Remember I told you a planet's orbit is akin to a car being on the highway. So when a planet is on its orbit, it's just talking about its travels, how it travels, okay? So listen. Beyond in Nibiru's circuit were Anshar and Kishar, and their size the largest. As a messenger, Gaga, among the others, coursed, sometimes the first to meet Nibiru. Okay, so they got Pluto is the first to meet Nibiru when it's on its orbit. Okay, so watch this. 5 in all were in Nibiru's heavenly greeters as the sun in circuit. So here go to 5. Neptune. I ain't reading from this. I'm reading from that. The 5 are Pluto, Neptune. Next up is going to be Uranus. Neptune and Uranus is the twin planets. Okay? Then it's going to be Saturn and Jupiter. I swear to God, the same way I have it in this illustration is the same way it's being read here. Okay? So they say sometimes when Nibiru is on its orbit, they meet Pluto first. Then they meet the twins. The twins are Neptune and Uranus. He says, beyond like a boundary, the asteroid belt, the sun encircled. Beyond like a boundary, the asteroid belt, okay? Just like they say, Neptune and Uranus, right? So they meet Pluto first, then Neptune, then Uranus, then goes Saturn, and after Saturn's going to be Jupiter. Beyond like a boundary. Beyond like a boundary. Okay? So we all know that the asteroid belt is a boundary. Okay? As a guardian of the heavens forbidden region with havoc it protected. That's what they just say about the asteroid belt. Did y'all hear that? Let me read that again. They just told you. They say, as a guardian of the heavens forbidden region with havoc it protected. So if y'all don't know, the asteroid belt is a bunch of mountain-sized boulders that's flying around in a perfect orbit. They move. They own orbit. Because everything, let me tell you something, orbit is magnetism. All of it is a magnetic field, okay? All of these planets are made of metal and iron, okay? So this is why planets stick to their orbit. It's a magnetic field. It's attracted by its orbit, okay? So they say in the asteroid belt, the asteroid belt as a guardian of the heavens forbidden region. Do y'all know what they call the heavens forbidden region? Our side, where we live at, the part of our solar system. Beyond the hammered bracelet. They call the asteroid belt the hammered bracelet. Think about that. Ain't that what it looked like? A hammered bracelet. That's what they called it. And they say that as a guardian of the heavens forbidden region. Okay? So like I told y'all, heaven is not a place. Heaven is the cosmos. And they're talking about one side of the cosmos, and they're talking about another side. And in the middle of that, you got this firmament. You got this asteroid belt that, guess what? Can't nobody get through. You know how hard it is for somebody to get through that shit? The Anunnaki was able because they got the technology. But it's hard to get through the asteroid belt, okay? Other children of the sun, this is our side, listen, other children of the sun, 4 in number, from intrusion, the belt shielded. Okay? So who are the other children of the sun? Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. That's in our system. Neptune and all of these is beyond the asteroid belt. We on the other side of the asteroid belt. So that's what y'all need to understand, okay? Other children of the sun, 4 in number, from intrusion, the belt shielded. You heard him? He said, other children of the sun, from intrusion, the belt shielded, meaning it was hard to get through. You cannot intrude. You can't get through to this outer region. So Mars, Venus, Earth, and Mercury, okay, is in our system. And in their system, they got the Neptune. They got Neptune. They got Uranus. They got Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto. The asteroid belt separates their part of the system from our part of the system. In its repeating circuit, the 5 in the Beeru's loop were carefully examined. In its repeating circuit, the 5 that's in the Beeru's loop were carefully examined. What atmospheres do they possess by observation? Right? This is somebody studying these planets. That's what Enshar is doing. Enshar is studying the 5 planets from his portion of the solar system, and he's studying the 4 planets beyond the solar system. You understand? Okay, let's get it. He wanted to know what kind of atmosphere did these planets have on them. What atmosphere do they possess by observation? And what celestial chariots intensely were examined. The findings were astounding. The discoveries were confusing. From circuit to circuit, Nibiru's atmosphere continued to suffer. In the councils of the learned, cures were actively debated. Ways to bandage the wound were urgently considered. So, as he's studying the cosmos, the issue on Nibiru is getting worse and worse. So, the great minds are trying to figure out a way to fix this issue. Remember I told y'all? Remember I told you that's why they ended up coming to the earth. Okay? So they got this rip in the atmosphere and they trying to come up with different ways, different ideas to remedy this situation. Y'all give me just a second. If you know you're not a course member and you hanging in here with us, we trying to be cool and let some folks hang in with us. Make sure you make a contribution to the live. Show some love, all right? You in here hanging out. These people paid for this information, and you in here kind of freeloading. Make sure you show some love to the live. And we don't feel your love, I'm going to instruct the mod squad to remove you. Because I know you having a good time, but show some love. I'm talking to all of the people that's hiding in here that are not course members. If you're having a good time, make sure you show some love to the live, okay? We trying to be cool. But all of these people paid for this information. They paid for this course. So you show some love too, or we're going to have to remove you, okay? Trust me. So they trying to find ways, okay? In the councils of the learned, cures were avidly debated. Ways to bandage the wound were urgently considered. A new shield to embrace the planet was attempted. All that was thrust up back to the ground came down, okay? In the councils of the learned, the belching volcanoes were studied. The atmosphere by belching volcanoes having been created, its wound by their diminished belching had come to be. Let with invention new belching be encouraged. Let volcanoes spew once again, one savant was saying. Okay, so listen, this is what they're talking about with the volcanoes. The ash and the soot from a volcano can be a patch to their atmosphere, okay? So anything to cover up this sunlight coming through, okay? So their whole idea is that let's activate volcanoes. Let's see if we can activate some of these volcanoes and get them to spit up this soot and this ash, and hopefully it will envelop and blanket the planet and keep the UV light from coming through. They trying to do their best they can, okay? How to achieve this feat, what tools to attain to cause the belching, none the king could inform. In the reign of Enshar, the breach in the skies grew bigger. Rains were withheld, winds blew harder, springs from the depths did not arise. In the lands there were an accusation. The breasts of mothers were dry. Listen, this is important. So now this calamity is causing such a problem on the land, ain't nobody eat. And if ain't nobody eat, mamas can't make breast milk for their babies. You understand? This is what a famine looked like. This is what a drought looked like. So you wonder why these people had to come to earth. Them folk had to save their damn planet. Okay? So the breast of the mothers was dry. And think about this. This don't sound like we talking about some monsters, huh? This sound like we talking about humans, right? The more and more you listen to this story, I bet it's going to sound very human to you. So don't let nobody sell you on no bullshit that these Anunnaki were some kind of monsters, some mythical, magical creatures. Man, these people were human. Okay? Shit, they were a previous version of human before what we are. Okay? So just remember that. In the lands, there was an accusation. The breasts of mothers were dry. In the palace, there was distress. An accusation therein took hold. As his first wife, Enshar, a half-sister, did espouse. By the law of seed abiding. Ninshar she was called, bear of the Shars. A son she did not bear. By a concubine to Enshar, a son was born. Okay, so Enshar's wife didn't get pregnant. He had to get a concubine pregnant, okay? The firstborn son he was. By Ninshar, first wife and half-sister, a son was not brought forth. So when the queen can't have no baby at all, we got to have somebody on the throne. So this time the concubine son gets to ascend to the throne, okay? By the law of succession, the concubine's son to the throne ascended. The seventh he was to reign. Okay, so this is the first time. This is the first time that we have a concubine's son on the throne. Okay? Du-Uru was his royal name. In the dwelling place fashion, it was the meaning. Okay? So his name was Du-Uru. He was the seventh king. He was the son of a concubine. In the dwelling place fashion was the name's meaning. Du-Uru. In the house of concubines, not in the palace, was he indeed conceived. See, they keep on making little old remarks. See how they keep on taking shots? Basically, they saying in the whole house. In the whole house was he conceived, not in the palace. They love taking shots, man, at these damn people born from these concubines, man. He was conceived in the whole house, not the palace. Anunnaki messy. They very messy. You gonna see it. As his spouse, a maiden from his youth beloved, Du-Uru chose. By love, not by seed, a first wife he selected. First of all, shout out to my sister Ro for that dope gift. Never saw that one. Big shout out to Ro. Much love, Ro. That was dope. I like that little gift. But check this out. Newsflash. Du-Uru then changed the game. Everybody else, listen, everybody else had to pick a half sister to be his queen, right? So Du-Uru, who was a concubine birth, say, hey, I'm not with that shit. Du-Uru say, man, that's what y'all royal people do. I got a girl I went to school with, and I like her. She been my girlfriend since the 6th grade. I'm gonna marry her. Okay? So Du-Uru say, I don't wanna do this half sister thing. It's nasty. I don't wanna hump on my sister, bro. Okay, I got another female that I rock with. Let me bring, hey, baby, come here, baby. Come here. Let me meet you. You can meet her. You know what I'm saying? Okay? Du-Uru say, I was not with the sister humping. I am not with it. Okay? So for the first time, we got a concubine son on the throne, and we're going to have a woman that is not even of the royal family. So they're going to have a commoner and a concubine son on the throne. And this going to cause some problems. Because I told you the Anunnaki miss. Very miss. Da-Uru was her royal name. She who is by my side was the meaning. He Du-Uru and she Da-Uru. That's the difference in the name. His name is Du, D-U, U-R-U, and her name is D-A-U-R-U. So Du-Uru and Da-Uru, okay? Like, you know how we give our wives our last name? They give their wives their first name. Are y'all seeing that correlation? Like when Unto got married, his wife was called Unto, right? Or and so forth. Kishar Gal, when she got married, her name was Kishar Gal because Anshar Gal. So you basically take on your husband's first name, and they look like in they culture. So this concubine son and this commoner is now on the throne. This finna cause some problems, okay? In the royal court, confusion was rampant. Sons were not heirs. Wives were not half-sisters. See what I'm saying? They like, for the first, they like, man, you got the concubine son, he ain't real. And now you got some woman from the streets on the throne? Sons were not heirs. Wives were not half-sisters. In the land, suffering was increasing. The fields forgot their abundance. Among the people, fertility was diminished. Okay, so people not even able to have babies because people ain't having food. In the palace, fertility was also absent. Neither son nor daughter was brought forth. Of On's seed, 7 were the rulers. Then of his seed, the throne was dry. So now, Dauru and Duuru, they can't have a baby because the land is not healthy. Nobody's not eating right. Can't nobody bring forth a child in these conditions. Dauru, a child at the palace gateway found. As a son, she embraced him. So somebody dropped a baby off at the palace steps, which makes sense. Because the poor people couldn't take care of no baby. If you had a baby, you couldn't feed it. So, it would make sense to give your child drop your child off at the palace doorsteps, right? Duuru, in the end, as a legal son, adopted him. Legal heir, he decreed him. His name was Lama, meaning dryness was his given name. So now, for the first time, we got somebody that's about to ascend to the throne of Nibiru that's got no royal blood at all. So this gonna really piss off society. You think they was pissed off when the concubine's son was on the throne. See, at least the concubine's son got half royal blood. His daddy is royal. Yes, it is 550. And somewhat. So, at least everything, 550, this is what I want you to know, my brother. Everything that we went through on earth was revisiting of what they went through on the Nibiru. They even said it. They said that the earthlings was doomed to repeat all of the things that we done, right? Because we lived right up under them. Everything about them we took from these people. This is what I want y'all to understand. So a lot of things that you're going to see that took place biblically had its origins in what happened on the Nibiru. But you're going to see it unfold. So anyway, this is going to really cause a problem. Because like I say, you thought they had a problem with the common woman being on the throne with the concubine son. They really gonna be mad about this dude on the throne that ain't got no royal blood. Okay? Lama, dryness, because he was born in a time of dryness. Okay? So Lama would be the 8th to ascend to or would he be the 9th? I lost count. I don't know if somebody keeping up with the count or not, but I can't remember if he was the 8th or the 9th to ascend to the throne. I got to take a look at my notes. Okay, the 8th. Okay, got it. Thank you, my sisters. That's what's up. Because I got to get my notes out. I got to get my damn notes out of here somewhere. They in here somewhere. In the palace, the princes were grumbling. Did I tell you? Now imagine this. Check this out. Let me create the mindset for you. Imagine being a prince, being a brother to the king. I'm talking about blood. Imagine being a full-blooded prince. That means that you are royal on both sides. Your mama was a queen and your daddy was a king, but you're not a firstborn. You a second or a thirdborn. So second and thirdborns were princes unless the firstborn dies, okay? So imagine being a firstborn, imagine being a full-blooded secondborn and watching people who are not even full blood or just half blood having possession of the throne. Imagine how that's gonna make you feel in your mind. You're gonna be like, this nigga ain't family. Like, how am I not on the throne? Right? So this is gonna cause a real problem during the kingship of Lama. Okay? Because they ain't gonna want Lama on the throne at all. Lama is basically an orphan. Okay? So this is an orphan king. All right? In the palace, the princes were grumbling. In the council of counselors, there were complaints. In the end, Lama ascended to the throne. Though of not though not of Un's seed, he was the 8th to reign. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for being right about that. In the councils of the learned, to heal the breach, there were 2 suggestions. Okay, so now we're going back to the councils of the learned. We're going back to the council of the savants. So the savants working hard on trying to fix this rip in the atmosphere. Okay, so at the same time, the royal palace got those problems going on. You also got the problems of the breach. Okay, so in the councils of the learned savants, to heal the breach, there were 2 suggestions. Here we go. The first suggestion was to use a metal. Gold was its name. Right? The first suggestion was to use a metal. Gold was its name. On Nibiru, it was greatly rare. But within the asteroid belt, it was in abundance. You heard that, right? So they knew about gold. They had an understanding of what its properties was, but it was rare on their planet. They had a minuscule amount of gold on their planet, not enough to do what they're trying to do. Right? So, the gold that was on our planet, guys, it wasn't worth nothing till somebody needed it. It wasn't worth nothing till somebody needed it. When somebody needed it, that is what created the value of gold. We didn't create the value of gold. We wore gold for jewelry. We just now started using gold as a technical application. So this is why, hold on, watch this, follow me. Come on with me, Corliss. Watch this. When I was a kid, gold was worth about $300 an ounce. You know why gold is $3,000 an ounce now? Not because of no goddamn gold chain. You know why it's $3,000 an ounce now? Because they're using it in all the computers. They're using it on the space shuttle. They're using it in medicinal. They're using it in everything. It's because it's got an immense value of properties. So what y'all saw us, what we used gold for was primitive shit. That was primitive. They needed it to save their lives. So this is where the value of gold comes from. So listen to what they say. They say, on Nibiru, it was greatly rare. So they ain't have none. But they knew a place where there was some. And it was the asteroid belt. Now, why would gold be abundant in the asteroid belt? When we finna start connecting some dots now. Why would gold be in abundance in the asteroid belt? You wanna know why? Because the asteroid belt is half of what used to be the planet Tiamat. When it exploded, when it was hit by Nibiru's moon, and it broke off. This was the time of the Titans. We're talking about millions and billion years ago. This was the time of the Titans. When it broke off, all of these pieces are former pieces of Earth. Earth is the golden planet. Tiamat was the golden planet. So the half of Earth that we live on is gold all through this motherfucker, everywhere. The rest of the gold is in the asteroid belt. Kind of interesting, right? So their first attempt is to go to the asteroid belt to try to mine the gold from the asteroid belt. But that's very dangerous. That is very dangerous. And that's what they're going to find out. So let's listen. On Nibiru, it was greatly rare. Within the asteroid belt, it was abundant. It was the only substance that could be grounded to the finest powder and lofted to the high heaven. Once suspended, it would remain. Okay? So if you grounded it down to monatomic gold, to a powder, you can spray it out to the atmosphere, and you're going to have a golden atmosphere. It's going to remain up there. Okay? Thus, with replenishments, the breach, it would heal. Protection, it would make better. Let celestial boats be built. Let a celestial fleet bring the gold to Nibiru. So they say, let's go build some spaceships. That's what a celestial boat. A celestial boat is a spaceship, okay? So they say, let's celestial boats be built. Let's go and get this gold from the asteroid belt, okay? Let weapons of terror be created. Y'all hear that term? They say, let weapons of terror. Weapons of terror is kind of like what we call weapons of mass destruction. These are big bombs, big missiles, okay? They say, let weapons of terror to be created was the other suggestion. Now, their other suggestion is to bomb the volcanoes. They figure if they bomb the volcanoes, they can get the volcanoes to activate, and the volcanoes are going to shoot out soot and ash and create a blanket of a cloud of gray smoke over their whole planet that's going to engulf and protect them from this UV light. Okay, it was a good idea if it could work, right? Yeah, atomic bombs, my love, right? Kind of like atomic bombs, but kind of like not necessarily nuclear bombs, but just large, big bombs. Okay, not necessarily nuclear bombs, but really big bombs. But they do have atomic weaponry. You're gonna see that it's coming. So this was their second suggestion. The first suggestion was to go to the asteroid belt to mine the gold in the asteroid belt. The second suggestion was let weapons of terror be created. Weapons that the ground shake loose, the mountains split asunder. Appreciate the love, Big Dream, and shout it. Much love, family. With missiles, listen, with missiles, the volcanoes to attack. Their dormancy to bestir. Their belching to increase, the atmosphere to replenish, the breach to make disappear. So that's what they want to do. They want to shoot these missiles down into these volcanoes, activate them, and see if that'll work. So those are the two suggestions. For a decision, Lama was too feeble. What choice to make, he didn't know. One circuit, Nibiru completed. 2 shars, Nibiru completed. So Lama is having a problem making a decision, right? So this is going to cause a problem for him because they like, hey, homie, you need to shit or get off the pot. You need to make a decision for the civilization, or you need to let somebody come in that can do the job, right? Because you got to remember, don't nobody like Buddy. Don't nobody like Lama, okay? Come on, Sherm, let's go. Let's go, man. Give me a spaceship, man. We got to get here, Sherm. Send me a spaceship so we can get here, baby. Let's go. I'm with you. In the fields, affliction was not diminished. By volcanic belching, the atmosphere was not repaired. Yeah, a shar is a 3600 period, okay? So, like I told y'all, one Nibiru year is 3,600 Earth years. Okay? What they call 1 year on Nibiru is a shar. But to us, that's 3,600 years. It would take 3,600 of our years to equal one of their shars. Okay? So they tried the volcanic belch and shit. It didn't work. Bum, bum, bum. No luck. A third shard passed. A fourth was counted. Gold was not obtained. So they wasn't able to get the gold from the asteroid belt. In the land, strife was abundant. Food and water were not abundant. In the land, unity was gone. Accusations were abundant. Okay, so it's wild now. It's fighting in the land, accusations, hunger. In the royal court, savants were coming and going. Counselors was rushing in and rushing out. The kings to their words paid no attention. Whew, that nigga Lama fucking up. So you got folks running in and out the royal palace trying to get to the king. Hey, man, listen to me. I got some ideas. And the king like, man, I ain't really listening to y'all. Counsel from his spouse was the only one he sought. Lahama was her name. So he ain't want to listen to nobody but his wife. Okay? He ain't want to listen to nobody but his wife. He ain't want to listen to none of the princes, none of the savants. He said, man, I'm going to listen to my wife. That's who I lay beside at night. I'm going to listen to her. I don't care what y'all say. He going to pay for it. Listen, here we go, guys. We finna get our first. Hey, we finna get our first. We finna get our first acknowledgement of the creator of all. Y'all ready? Here we go. If destiny it be, let us beseech the great creator of all. To the king, she said. Okay, this is his wife. His wife say, if this is what is going to be, you know, let us beseech the great creator of all. Beseeching, net actings provide the only hope. Let's pray to the creator of all is what she was saying. She said, let's pray to the creator of all. Prayer is the only thing we can do. That's what she's telling them. Let Lorna be the king no more, they shouted. Let decision supplant hesitation. So now you got the princes and the savants who he not listening to. They say it's time for Lorna not to be the king no more. Okay, let Lorna not be the king no more. Let decision supplant hesitation. They say let somebody take the throne that can make a decision instead of his hesitation. Come, let us unnerve the king in his dwelling. Let him the throne abandon. All right, so now you got one of these princes that took the lead. There's a prince in particular who took the lead, and he said, hey, yeah, they trying to get at him now. Watch this. So then you got this one prince in particular. He stood up and he say, I'm gonna lead the mob to remove him from the throne. Okay. The princes to his word gave heed. To the gate of the palace they rushed. To the throne room, its entrance restricted. Like on rushing waters they went. To the tower of the palace the king escaped. The prince was pursuing him. The prince's name was Alalu. Write that name down. Okay? When you talk about important characters in this thing, I'm going to tell y'all every time you got an important character. Now, a lot of these kings that we've been talking about, they ain't as important as this dude Alalu. Okay? It's a lot of them kings. It's cool to know their name, but you need to know Alalu. Okay? So write that name down, put a star beside. You need to know that name, okay? You got to wait. You're going to get the significance of why, okay? Telling y'all it's the greatest story ever told. This is just day one. This is just day one, guys. We got a long time to go. Alalu, A-L-A-L-U. Alalu. Okay? This is the first day. We got a long time to go, but it's the greatest story ever told. It gets better and better. If you think it's good today, wait till tomorrow. And then wait till the day after that. Okay? So here we go. So the prince name that was pursuing Lama was Alalu. Alalu was leading the mob. In the tower, there was a struggle. Lama fell to his death. Lama's dead, guys. Lama is no more, Alalu shouted. The king is no more. With glee, he announced. To the throne room, Alalu rushed. On the throne, he himself seated. Without right or counsel, a king he himself pronounced. Now hold on. They don't play this shit on the B-roll. You can't just make yourself the king. You can't, first of all, you damn sure don't kill a king. Okay, you don't kill a king, right? And you don't just put yourself on the throne. Now, I don't know how many of y'all ever used to watch that show Game of Thrones. Put some fives in the chat if you remember the original Game of Thrones. If you watched and you was a fan of Game of Thrones. Y'all remember what they called Ned Stark when he killed the king, right? What they used to call Ned Stark? Kingslayer. Some people used to look at that as a term, a negative term. Like he hated to hear that name. All right, Kingslayer. So it wasn't good to be known as a Kingslayer because people, you know, they didn't, you know, smile upon that. Okay. But you don't, yeah, Jamie Lannister was a Kingslayer too, for real. But you don't just place yourself upon the throne, okay? You got to be chosen, or you got to succeed to the throne. Y'all give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. We got a break for 2 minutes. And when I come back, we're going to finish up this chapter, all right? Back to it, man. We moving right along here. So we got Llama. Llama was just killed Alalu caused his death, okay? So Alalu ain't, you know, but he's going to be blamed for his death, okay? He caused his death. So it's the same with them, okay? So let's go ahead and finish up this chapter. We all have a good time learning this knowledge. You already know it, baby. Like I say, Alalu has placed himself upon the throne. That is not allowed. You don't get to just place yourself upon the throne. Okay? Now, this is the account of the kingship of Alalu and the going to earth. Okay? Now, this is where we be with this chapter, you're going to be getting the steps toward earth. They're getting closer and closer to making the decision to come to the earth. Okay? So let's get it going. In the land, unity was lost. Some by the death of Llama rejoiced. Others by Alalu's deed were saddened. Okay? So not everybody was happy with Llama being killed. Okay? So this affected the unity in the land. In the land, unity was lost. About the kingship, many were agreed. From father to son, succession from on the throne continued. Even Llama, the eighth, by adoption, a son was proclaimed. All right? Got to remember, Llama was adopted. He was left at the doorsteps. Okay? Llama meaning dryness. Okay? Who was Alalu? Was he a legal heir? Was he firstborn? By what right did he usurp? Was he not a kingslayer? These are the questions that they're pondering about Alalu. They're like, who is this nigga? Nigga, who you know? Who is your people? Who you kin to? Well, you just killed a king. Hey, man, who are you, bro? Before the seven who judge Alalu was summoned. Okay? The seven who judge is like their court system. Okay? Before the seven who judge, that is their court system. Anytime somebody's accused of any type of crime against the crown or against their civilization, they're brought before the seven who judge. Before the seven who judge, Alalu was summoned, his fate to consider. Before the seven who judge, Alalu spread his pleas. Though neither legal heir nor a firstborn son of royal seed, indeed he was. Remember, he was a prince. So he related to the family. He's more related to the family than, just show him the dough, my love. If somebody in here trying to disrupt the class or something, just, show them the dough. They ain't supposed to be in here nowhere. You got to be a course member to be in here. So you damn sure ain't going to interrupt the course if you're not a course member. Okay? So if you're not a course member, you causing issues, we going to go and just remove you from the live. Right? If you causing any, please don't cause no trouble, especially if you ain't contributing to the live. If you in this motherfucker, you ain't showing no love, you ain't gifting, you really a freeloader, okay? So we don't, don't be a freeloader and be disruptive, all right? So you got to remember, like I said, they're trying to see who Alalu is, like how is he connected? So again, Alalu is a prince, meaning he is blood, okay? Way more blood than Lama, probably more blood than Lama's father, okay? De'Uru, remember De'Uru was a concubine son, so he was half blood. Lama was no blood, right? But Alalu is definitely related to the royal family. Who was Alalu? Was he a legal heir? Was he firstborn? By what right did he usurp? Was he not a kingslayer? Before the seven who judge Alalu was summoned, his fate to consider. Before the seven who judge Alalu, his pleas were spread. Though neither legal heir nor a son firstborn of royal seed he indeed was. Of Anshargal I am descended. Before the judges he claimed. Okay, so we got to go back to Anshargal. Y'all remember Anshargal? Remember I told y'all we're going to have to go back? Y'all remember the episode between Anshargal and Keisha Girl? Keisha Girl say, this bitch son ain't taking no throne. Y'all remember our sister Keisha Girl? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember us talking about Anshargal and Keisha Girl. Okay. This is why we got to go back. Because see, this is what all of this concubine loving then created. Okay? So we got to find out how Alalu is related to the throne. Here we go. Alalu say, I got you, fam, but this is a private course, my brother, okay? This is a private course. These are people who value my teachings, people who value my information, and these people have chosen to value the information by paying a monetary amount for this course. Some people feel like it ain't necessary. Some people feel like I ain't paying no money. I can learn it by myself. Go do that. But if you want to learn it in here with us, if you want somebody who can explain it to you, break it down to you, teach it in a certain format, then you can join the course. You know what I'm saying? Today, we're trying to let people be cool. We're trying to let people hang out. All we ask that you support the live. Show some love to the live, man. Okay? It's a reason we doing this, right? We doing this to power the UMF, okay? So if you're going to be in here with us, if you're going to hang out with us, show some love to the course. If not, we ask that you remove yourself, all right, if that's a problem for you, okay? Michael Jack, appreciate the love, family. Appreciate the love, okay? Like I say, guys, I don't give a shit what nobody say about me. I know why I do what I'm doing. I got a greater, this is a greater mission to what I do. I'm using social media as a means to fund this movement, to be able to continue to teach our people, to create opportunities for our people to learn, okay? So like I say, man, if somebody respects that mission, they're going to be good with me. If they don't respect the mission, then I could care less. They just in the way, all right? So show some love to the family. Show some love. So here we go. Alalu say, hey, man. Alalu said, hey, man. I'm Kuttah Anshargal. I'm Kuttah Anshargal. Okay? Of Anshargal, I am descended. Before the judges, he claimed. By a concubine, my ancestor was to him born. Alam was his name. Y'all remember the concubine son that got skipped over? The one that Keisha Girl say, that nappy head nigga ain't gonna be on no throne over my son. Right? His name was Alam. A-L-A-M. So we usually don't get to hear these concubine sons' name. Okay? But today we had to mention his name. His name was Alam. Go ahead and take care of buddy, man. We're gonna holler at your fam. You go do this on your own, big dog. You go, this is our family. You know what I'm saying? We don't just let anybody in here. So we're gonna holler at you, big dog. Catch you on the next lifetime. Catch you in the next. Your energy ain't right for my group. Your energy, yeah, I got you. Your energy ain't right for this group. We're gonna holler at you, fam. Peace. Oh, peace. He can go punch the air now. Oh, trust me, he upset. Trust me. When you've been up in here having a good time, when you've been up in here having a fun time learning this information, and then you get kicked out of this bitch, you feel lost. You be like, damn, where to go? Where do I go in this TikTok world? And then you try to go to them lives that you used to go to, and you like, I don't like this shit. Damn, I want to go back in there with Chief. Respect the live, huh? We got something beautiful over here. Respect the live. We ain't got no time. We ain't gonna play these games with y'all. We ain't gonna play these games. Get in line, respect the live, and have a good time. If not, we're gonna see you another time. Another live orphan. Another live. Another orphan, J Swing. The live orphans, man. You gotta watch out for them. They be having 2 and 3 pages too. So they'll go jump on the other page and come back and try to hate and try to get the live taken down. Gotta watch out for them dudes. Be telling folk, man, join the party, man. We be having a good time. It's a lot better to be a part of this system than be just scrolling on TikTok, scrolling meaningless on TikTok. So listen up. The concubine's sons was named Alam, okay? So Alam was the one that got stepped over by Inshar. They gave the crown to Inshar instead of Alam, okay? So Alalu say, I'm kin to Alam. That's how I get to be royal. I'm kin to Alam. Now all he did was prove that he a half-blood, that he related to the throne because he a half-blood. The Anunnaki like full-bloods. They don't really care for the half-bloods like that. Okay? So Alalu, yeah, technically he related, but you related to a nigga that's a half-blood. Okay? So Alam, write that name down. What you want to do is go back to Anshargal, Kishargal, and you want to say, in your notes, you want to say, concubine son, firstborn, Alam. And then you go down from Kishargal. Kishargal's first son was Inshar. Law of double seed, right? So he usurped Alam because of the law of double seed. This is the way I do my notes, right? So I can keep up with it. But anyway, if you go back to Alam, from Alam, Alalu is saying he related. Almost like Alam might be his uncle, right? Alam might have some brothers and sisters, and Alalu is the son of Alam's brothers and sisters or whatever, okay? So, Alam was his name. By the count of Shars, Alam was the firstborn. The throne belonged to him. Okay? So this is Alalu basically trying to take up for Alam. He told them folks, he said, nah, man, y'all fucked over my uncle. My uncle was supposed to be on the throne. Y'all messed over him. Okay? So this is Alalu's claim that his concubine uncle got messed over. By the count of Shars, Alam was the firstborn. To the throne him belonged. A law of the seed. From naught she created. For her son the kingship she attained. By descent of Alarn's generation I am continued. The seed of Anshargal is within me. To the council of counselors they passed the matter, truth or falsehood to ascertain. The royal annals from the house of records were brought forth. With much care they were read, okay? So the house of records is where everything is recorded, okay? The first king, his sons, who ascended to the throne, who got married, who ascended to the throne, what laws were decreed. All of this is in the house of records. So they're going to go back and open up this book. See, we supposed to have that too. We supposed to have that on earth, right? Okay, that's what the Bible was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a collection of our records. We were supposed to always go in there. Y'all remember, y'all have seen that family tree where they have Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel and so forth. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all ever seen a biblical family tree. Okay, so that was our house of records. We were supposed to be able to go in there and look and say, okay, I'm related to such and such because I can go back, boom, 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 bam. I'm related to Adam through Cain. I'm related to this person through this person. We supposed to be able to do that, right? But, you know, you're going to find out what happened. Our information got stolen. We got removed. We got removed from our history, okay? So anyway, they go into the house of records to see if Alalu's claims are true. So let's go check the paperwork. Here we go. Y'all ready? On and unto the first royal couple, 3 sons, no daughters to them was born. Okay? Let me write mine down too. I need to retake my notes too. Let me grab me a pen right quick. My kids being here stealing all my goddamn ink pens. Them kids, man, them kids get on your nerve. You love them, but they get on your damn nerve. They came here and took all my pens. Somebody getting a whooping the ball. I'm just playing. I don't be whooping my kids like that, man. They listen. I got some good kids. They listen. They used to get whoopings, though. Used to have to spank that butt. All right, so firstborn, we got. First, we had on and unto. On and unto was the first king and queen after the truce. Yeah, man. Oh, mama, boy, they don't like when mama fuss at them. That's when they really be hurt. When mama fuss at them. Niggas be in here crying and carrying out when mama first said so first you got on and unto. They had 3 sons, okay? And those 3 sons were Enki, Ib, which is Unib, and I forgot the 3rd son name. So for right now, I'm just going to put 3rd son. And then Unib married the daughter of the 3rd son, okay? And her name was Ninib. Okay. You got Enki, like A-N-K-I. A-N-K-I, Enki. And then you had Ib. His name became Unib, which is the 2nd son. A-N-I-B. And then the 3rd son, I forgot his name, but I'm going to give it to y'all. I can't remember his name right this second. I got that in my notes somewhere. Because the 3rd son is very important. Okay? Just like Alalu is tracing his steps, there's going to be another prince that's going to challenge Alalu. Okay? And when that prince challenges Alalu, we're going to find out he's related to the throne through the 3rd son. Okay? So the 3rd son of On and Unto is going to be very important. Okay? So write 3rd son. When you're talking about their 3 sons, write Enki, 1st son, died on the throne. Unib, 2nd son, ascended to the throne. 3rd son, Just put third son and put 2 stars by the name, so you'll remember to return, okay? We're going to have to return to the third son, okay? So, 3 sons, no daughters were born to Un and Untu. The firstborn was Enki. He died on the throne. He had no offspring. The middle son, instead, the throne ascended. Un-Ib was his name, okay? Un-Ib married the daughter of the third son. Yeah, I think it was something like that. But let me make sure before I say it. Let me make sure, Jay Swing. I gotta check my notes, but I think it is something like that. But I gotta go make sure. So the third son had a daughter, and that's who Un-Ib married. And Un-Ib and Nin-Ib. So Un-Ib was the second king. Second king was Un-Ib. No, I'm sorry, the third. He was the third because his brother died on the throne. The third king was Un-Ib. He married Nin-Ib, and they had Anshargal. So Anshargal was the fourth king, son of Nin-Ib and Un-Ib. Okay, all of this information gonna be very important, so we gotta keep up. So Anshargal was the fourth king, son of An-Ib and Nin-Ib. After Anshargal on the throne, kingship by the firstborn did not continue. Okay, so Anshargal was, remember, him and Keisha girl had an issue because he had to bring in the concubines. Okay. He was the one that passed the law saying, hey, man, it's too many women out here. Every man got to be able to have more than one woman. All right? So Anshargal, who was married to Kishargal, had a birth by concubine. Okay? The law of succession by the law of seed was supplanted. A concubine's son was the firstborn by the law of seed of kingship he was deprived. Okay? So this concubine's son is the one that Alalu is saying that he is related to. Alam. Okay? Alam is the concubine's son. A-L-A-M. But then Keisha girl and Anshar girl had a son named Inshar. And Inshar became the fifth king. Okay? So Inshar was the one who leaped over Alam for the throne. Alam was the concubine, and Alalu claims he is related to Alam. All right? It says, of the concubine's son, the firstborn, the angels made no record. So they didn't even keep the concubine's son in the records. Of him I am descended, Alalu to the counselors cried out. By the law of succession, to him kingship belonged. By the law of succession to kingship, I am now entitled. Okay, so this is his claim. My uncle was cheated out of the throne, and I'm related to him, so I got some of the blood of the king in me, so I am entitled to ascend to the throne. With hesitation, the counselors of Alalu an oath of truth demanded. Alalu swore the oath of life and death as the counsel him considered. Okay? They summoned the elders, they summoned the princes. Before them, the decision was pronounced. From amongst the princes, a young prince stepped forward. About the kingship, words he wished to say. All right. So just when they about to announce that we're going to get a throne to Alago, okay? Just when they about to announce it, another prince steps forward. Not so fast. Not so fast, Alago. Succession must be reconsidered to the assembly, he said. Though neither firstborn nor by the queen a son of pure seed I am descended. So the prince stepped up. The prince say, I ain't no firstborn, and I ain't the son of a queen, but of pure seed I am descended. Now, do y'all understand what pure seed is? Pure seed is when you're related to the royal family, not through concubine. There's no concubine relation. Like, you got to be related to somebody who was on the throne, full blood. Somebody from the law of double seed. You got to be related to a full blood, okay? So he said he is descended of a pure seed. The essence of An is in me, preserved by no concubine diluted. Shots fired. Shots fired in the palace. My boy say, I'm family for real. My boy say, I'm blood for real. My blood ain't come from no whole line. My blood ain't come from the whole line. I'm family for real. Right? Shots fired, man. They be firing shots at them damn concubines, son. You would not have been comfortable walking around knowing your mama was a concubine. Boy, you know what we did to your mama last night? See what I'm saying? It's terrible. It had to be terrible being a young concubine son walking around there. Goodness gracious. So, this young prince steps up. He says, hey, I'm real blood. The counselors heard the words with amazement. The young prince, to step closer, they summoned. They asked for his name. He said, my name is Anu. Anu. Okay? After my forefather An, I am named. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Anu, baby. Right? They inquired about his generations. Of An's 3 sons, he reminded them. Here we go. So now he's got to do the same thing Alalo did. We need to know how you related. So he reminded them of the 3 generations of An. Okay, the 3 sons. Here we go. Remember I told y'all the 3rd son was important? Here's why. Enki was the firstborn. Without son or daughter, he died. Eb was the middle son. Okay? Instead of Enki to the throne, he ascended. Eb, the daughter of his younger brother, took to be wife. From them onward, the succession is in the annals recorded. But who was that younger brother? A son of An. And unto of one of purest seed. Who was that 3rd son? That's what they asked. Who was that 3rd son? The counselors with wonderment looked at each other. Boy, that's a damn shame. You ain't even important if you ain't no firstborn. They don't even remember none of the other sons' names. Okay, so the 3rd son, here we go. Y'all ready? The 3rd son was named Inama. Inama. Now we got his name, okay? The 3 sons of An. Enki, Eb, and Inama. Just like how it sounds. E-N-A-M-A. Inama. All right, everybody got that? The 3rd son of An. So you can go back and fill that in. Now you don't have to call him 3rd son no more. We know his name. His name is Inama, 3rd son of An. Okay? Inama was married. He took a spouse. Her name was Ninuru. Okay? Inama and Ninuru was married. His wife was a half-sister. By laws of seed and succession, a son she bore him. Of pure descent, the generations continue. By law and by seed, perfect, okay? So Inama's line was pure, okay? They did everything they were supposed to do. Everybody married a half-sister. Everybody kept it in the family. The blood stayed pure. Anu said he came from that line, okay? So Anu would have ended up being like either like the great grandson of Inama, okay? He was like probably like the great grandson of Inama, okay? I knew after our forefather On did my parents name me. From the throneship, we were removed. From On's pure seed, we were not removed. Okay, we might not be able to be kings, but we ain't stopped being blood. One of the counselors shouted out, "Let Anu be king." Many counselors shouted, "Let Alalu be removed." So they really ain't want Alalu. They really ain't want Alalu, okay? So they say, "Let Anu be the king." Others, caution, did counsel. Let strife be prevented. Let unity prevail. They called in Alalu, the discovered findings to be told. To the prince Anu, Alalu, his arm and embrace offered. So Alalu is about to try to pull a fast one, okay? So check it out. To the prince Anu, Alalu, his arm in embrace offered. To Anu, he thus said, though by different offsprings, one ancestors, we are both descended. Let us live in peace. Together, Nubiru to abundance to return. So Alalu is older than Anu. Anu young. Anu like a young man, probably like 20 years, 21, 22 years old or something. Alalu a little older, probably about 40, 45 years old, right? So Alalu comes to Anu like, "Hey, young buck, come here, young buck. We both on the same team. We both from the same family. The only difference is, nigga, you not really family. You come from the concubine. I come from pure seed." But this is Alalu trying to be the old head finessing the young head, right? So he said, "Hey, man, we come from the same family. Let's work this out. We can work this out, young buck. We can work it out." He tells Anu, he say, "Let me keep the throne, and then you be in line to succeed, okay? You're going to be my succession, okay?" So this was Alalu's offer to the young Anu. Let me stay on the throne for right now, and then after me, you can succeed to the throne. To the councils, Alalu directed these words. He said, "Let Anu crown prince be. Let him be my successor. Let his son, my daughter, espouse. Let succession be united." So this was the offer. Alalu say, "Hey, right now, let me be the king, and then Anu is going to succeed me. And as a pot sweetener, I'm going to give him my daughter, okay? So I'm going to give my daughter to you for your son to marry as a pot sweetener for letting me keep the crown for now," right? Anu bowed before the council. To the assembly he thus declared, "Alalu's cupbearer I shall be. His successor in waiting, I will accept. A son of mine, a daughter of his as bride shall choose. So Anu accepted it. Okay, Anu say, okay, you know what? I'm a team player. I'm gonna be a team player. Okay, I'm gonna let Alalu hold down the throne, but then I'm gonna take over if he dies or whatever it be. Okay, that was the council's decision. In the royal annals, it was inscribed. In this manner, Alalu on the throne remained seated. He summoned the sages, savants, and commanders. He consulted for deciding. He gained much knowledge. Let celestial boats be constructed, he decided. He decided to seek gold in the asteroid belt once again. Okay, so Alalu is on the throne. The first thing he do is get to working on the problems. Y'all remember, Nibiru is crumbling at this point from the UV light coming in from the sun, you know, from them having a hole in their ozone layer. So the first thing he do, he get to work. We get to working on the problems, okay? Check this out. He basically go and do the same shit that the king before him had did, okay? So they had already tried to go to the asteroid belt. It didn't work. So Alalu jumps back. He said, let's go back out there. Let's do that again, okay? Anu bowed before the council. To the assembly he does declare. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I already read that. Let celestial boats be constructed, he decided. To seek the gold in the asteroid belt, he decided. All right, gang. This is where we will wrap up chapter 1 of the Sumerian tablets for today. So now we have Alalu on the throne. We got Prince Anu in waiting. Clean up on aisle 5. Please block these people. These be them damn bots. We got Prince Anu in waiting. Okay, now if y'all don't know, told y'all just like this. Alalu is very important to this story. He's an important character. An even more important character is Anu. Anu is, you know, the chief deity of the Anunnaki. Okay? On the back of the dollar bill, if you got a dollar bill in your house, in your pocket, turn your dollar bill around. On the back of your dollar bill, it says, Anu Coeptis. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever seen that on the back of your dollar bill. Anu Coeptis. That means God favors our undertaking, or God favors our mission, okay? Well, who do you think is the God that they're talking about? Anu. That's why it says Anu et Coeptis. That money is represented by, that money is supposed to be representative of gold. Well, who owns all the gold? Anu, the king of Nibiru. So on the back of the money you hold in your pocket, got this man's name, and you never knew that. Okay, we're going to get to that. I'm going to make that make sense to you. I'm going to make, just turn that dollar around. You see that pyramid too, though, huh? You see that pyramid. You see that all seeing eye. Where the pyramid come from? Who built the pyramid? The Anunnaki. That's their pyramid on the back of your dollar. Anu et Coeptis is letting you know whose money this is, whose gold this is, whose planet this is. We're going to get there, okay? So yeah, Anu is a very important character. Alalu is a very important character. When we return, we will get into Alalu trying to extract gold from the asteroid belt. And we got some more fuckery coming, okay? We got some more, Ishtar, yeah, for right on, Heaven Year. You're right about that. All of that symbology goes back to these people. We're going to get into it. So when we return tomorrow, as Nibiru turns, we got some more fuckery that's going to come up. We got some upheaval, some changes. We got a lot of things that's going to take place. Okay? Tomorrow, I think we get to the point where they make it to Earth, when they first make it to Earth. Okay? And that's when you break your Bible out and you can see. Well, all of that stuff in Genesis, you're going to see where it come from. Okay? So I hope y'all had a good time on y'all first day of Sumerian Tablets course with your brother Chief Kuttah. I know I done had fun with y'all. All right? We're going to be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. If you are a person that is not a course member and you want to be alerted and you want to be a part of the course, okay, you need to join the course properly. I know you was able to come in here today and you might be thinking in your mind, I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. But tomorrow we're going to be blocking, okay? We're not going to be letting everybody hang out in here, okay? So if you want to hang out with us, sign up for the course. Message me. I'll send you the information. Sign up for the course. Do like these good folks did and pay your wage. Everybody that's in here paid to get the information, paid to get the understanding. Do your part. Okay? If you feel like you don't want to pay, that's cool. Just don't come back. We're not going to let you come back. Okay? Show some love to the live. Gift the live. Right? All my people in here gifting. All my people in here showing love. Okay? Not you, Vicky. Somebody paid for you, my love. You a course member, Vicky. You got to remember somebody paid for you. We talking to the people that's in here that's not course members. Okay? So if you're not a course member, man, do right. Show some love to the live. Message the live. If not, we just going to make sure you can't join us tomorrow. All right? So we're going to ride it out like this, man. Yeah, if anybody got any questions, feel free to drop your questions right now. Is there any relationship with Anu and Anubis? Yes, sir. Shout out, boom. Good job, Kanayo. That's why I rock with that brother. Kanayo, that's a good analysis, a good correlation. Yes, let me show you how. Watch this. Anubis is the dog star. The dog star is Sirius. Where did I tell you the Anunnaki came from? Sirius. Okay? So Anubis is the dog star and is associated with Sirius. And of course, that is where the name Anubis comes from, my brother. They are always paying homage to Anu or Untu. Okay? Always paying homage to Anu and all. That was a good point, Kanayo. I need to write that down too. That's a little note I can put in my back pocket too. The connection between Anu and Anubis. That's a good teaching point down the line. So shout out to Kanayo, man. Kanayo in here on with his third go round showing out already. Much love. Y'all remember last year we got that ribosome. Remember last year we got that information about the ribosomes? Come on, man. I told y'all, even though I teach the class, I got a class full of intelligent minds. I got a class. That's why I love my class. That's why I love y'all. Because y'all not just some randoms. Y'all are intelligent people that are supposed to be here, right? We don't want no baby brains up in here, man. We want the smart folks. So shout out to my brother Kanayo, man. Well, the whole Anunnaki system was started by Queen Tiamat and Prince Tiberian. So it was seeded, okay? So it wasn't a civilization of beings before them. They were the first of their planet, okay? So they were seeded, right? Like on this planet, That was a life, that was a world before us, okay? That was a world that was before us. But on their planet, they were the first of their planet, or it was seeded that way, okay? If anybody got any questions of the information we've covered for today, feel free. We're going to hang out till this song go off, and we go from there. I think the coolest part of this first piece is this right here. We didn't have this before, okay? Let me show y'all something. We reading tablets from 10,000 years ago, and these tablets is talking about the precession of planets. Who the fuck knew about these planets and what position they was in 10,000 years ago? Or further back, actually further back longer than that, right? They talking about from their planet, from the time of their planet. They told you in order how these planets are aligned. And it's the same order we find today, okay? So them talking about when Nibiru comes into our orbit, how it's met by Pluto first, then Neptune, Uranus. Man, this damn map behind me, this cosmology map, basically validated exactly what they say. It validated exactly what they say, guys. And what I want y'all to know, guys, like I told y'all, yeah, 450,000 years back. So what I want y'all to know, this asteroid belt is the firmament that separates the heavens. Okay? This is the firmament that separates the heavens, guys. This is the real firmament. Okay? So we're gonna get into more of this. I know they've been telling y'all this other shit, but there's a electromagnetic field that's above this earth. Now that's the firmament I think people be talking about. But this is the real firmament, the one that separates the heavens, right? So we're gonna get more into this. We're gonna get deeper into this because I have notes on this information. All right. So just sit tight, man. We're gonna unfold together now because we tired of the lies. We tired of the liars and we tired of the lies. We wanted the truth, and the truth is being given. All praises to the Most High. I heard them make a reference to God. They talked about, they made a reference to the creator of all. When they planet was going through calamity, they say we need to pray. We need to, the Uru's wife said we need to turn to the creator of all, okay? So right off the bat, you get that. You know what I mean? So we letting y'all know, man, God is real. It's just a story that then gave y'all here on earth is not completely accurate, all right? So we getting into the accurate story. That's what we doing up here. Tomorrow, man, we getting ready to swing up out of here. Much love. Shout out to everybody that donated. Big shout out to Leandro, the Mod Squad God. Big shout out to Canayo. Appreciate the love. That's Mr. Consistency. Appreciate the love, Canayo. And if anybody want to donate to the UMF, you can always hit us up. Always hit us up at $ UniMailFam. UniMailFam 1212, $UniMailFam 1212. If anybody want to make any donation to the UMF, if you want to join the UMF, whatever it may be, all right? $UniMailFam 1212. J2. We received a donation from a S Coco, and they didn't leave their TikTok profile name. So if S Coco is in the building, we need to know who you are, family. Anytime you donate, always leave your TikTok profile name in the memo section, okay? So S Coco, we looking for you. We want to show you some love for your donation. No, brother, you don't need to pay for anything right now. I mean, if you want to make a donation to the UMF, that's fine. But you don't need to pay for no other classes right now. We just started this class. I pray to God that we are able to be around for another class. I hope we can continue this. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they're going to do with TikTok beyond the next couple months. I know that we got enough time to do this course. I don't know what's going to happen beyond this, okay? I hope they're able to figure out a way to keep TikTok together, because I'm telling y'all, this truth is not allowed on any of these other sites. The only reason we can tell this truth on TikTok is because TikTok is like I say, TikTok is not a part of the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook group. You know what I mean? So TikTok let us get away with a little bit. So at the end of the day, if you want to show some love to the UMF, that's fine. But I hope we're able to have another course beyond this one, okay? And if I did do another course, it's going to be an advanced course, and everybody going to be ready for it, okay? Because y'all getting prepared for it right now. So shout out to everybody that showed some love, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for everything y'all do. Thank y'all for helping me build the UMF, because every time you donate or you give, that's one more block being built to get this thing done, all right? So shout out to y'all, man. Much love. I want y'all to have a wonderful night. I ask the Most High, I ask the Creator to keep all y'all safe, healthy, and happy. May the Most High, may the Creator of all keep each and every one of y'all children safe. I pray that each and every one of y'all children have a productive, safe day at school tomorrow. And I ask the Father and the Mother to keep all y'all safe, healthy, and happy. Until then, I'm going to check in with y'all tomorrow, gang. Peace, love, and light. I'm out.